Well, it's the weekend here at Michigan Storm Chasers. I'm Ryan. Welcome to the channel. This is your first time here. Consider subscribing as we do content like this all the time. I apologize for not uploading yesterday, as I said that we would do the long term discussion on Friday's video. Took a day off to rest and recharge a little bit and also continue working on the back end. We have a lot of stuff we're working on. I'm working on a very long form YouTube video for May 7th of last year. Also, there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that's yet to come that we're really excited about that we can't share just yet. But we're working on a lot of stuff very hard on stuff behind the scenes. So overall, yesterday was a good day to rest and recharge. But today we're back and we're going to go over today's forecast and also peek into the long term as promised 2 days ago. I went ahead and reverted back to the old style format of the video. That way we can kind of watch how things develop here on the models. Let's go ahead and start on the HRRR model. This is the short-term high resolution guidance here. Today, we're looking at the evening time frame. We could have a couple snow squalls develop here. This is right around the evening 4, 5, 6 p.m. time frame here. UP gets snow around this time, but also notice here, northern lower Michigan, these snow squalls may push across northern lower like Gaylord, really Mount Pleasant north, maybe a little bit further south, depending on how this all comes together. But around that 6, 7, 8 p.m. time frame, watch for some heavy snow squalls up there in northern lower Michigan. These will combine with heavier winds. So not only are you going to get heavy bursts of snow, you may also get a very good gust of wind. If we switch this over here to the wind map in miles per hour, we're seeing a bunch of areas here in the 30s, 25 to really 35 miles per hour. The greens are the highest here, near 40 miles per hour. So all across Michigan, really 20 to 40 miles per hour is the expectation. That may combine with some snow squalls and reduce visibility in localized spots. If I were to go ahead and go back to these precipitation there, you're going to notice the later we get, some snow squalls do develop here further south here across Detroit Metro, all the way from like Grand Rapids, Lansing area. So as we get later in the evening, closer to that 10, 11 o'clock tonight, we may have a couple localized snow squalls ongoing, which could cause some localized traffic issues. In terms of accumulations, we're not going too hard with these. 1 to 3 up in the UP. Isolated higher amounts, definitely a possibility up there in the aqua blue colors. For the most part, though, most of these areas that are going to see snow are going to be traced to an inch, which is a T to 1. And then perhaps some snow squalls after 4 p.m. Again, I think it's going to be a little bit later on if you're further south toward that Lansing area, closer to that 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock time frame. So overall, snow squalls are possible today. Do take it easy if you find yourself on the roads tonight. If you do encounter a snow squall, they can reduce visibility and slick up roadways very quickly. That is your forecast for today. In addition to being gusty, do expect that to be a travel nuisance today. In terms of the wind, here's our wind map we created yesterday. So 35 to 45 miles per hour in pink, and then 25 to 40, excuse me, in purple, and then in aqua up to 25 miles per hour is the forecast. All right, now let's go ahead and talk about the long term. This is the topic that I wanted to cover in detail. We have a couple things to talk about. Not much to really, highlight and say, hey, look at this. So number one, going to the 6 to 10 day outlook on the CPC. This is from January 30th to February 3rd. We are seeing that we are above average in terms of our temperature probabilities. That is going to be the case for the next several days, if not 10 to 15 days in advance here. I actually did not pull up a meteogram, but I will really quickly here. This is a chart of the temperatures over the next couple of days here, next 15 days, really. This is based out of Lansing here. We're going to notice something here. We are not very cold in the next 15 days. These are your high temperatures in the yellow part, and the blue is going to be your low temperatures. We're seeing upper 20s or low 30s, even mid 40s. And then notice around that 1st of February timeframe, which is a Saturday, middle of your screen there, 44 for a high there, and then Sunday is a 40-degree stat. So around that 1st of February timeframe, we are watching for a big warm up, but also a system that's going to work through. And if we are that warm, it'll likely bring rain for a good majority, if not all, of Michigan. So keeping that, sorry about that. If you keep that in mind, we're going to be looking at a potential Significant warm up here to start our February timeframe, but also notice we cool down just a bit there according to the model in the first half of February or first week of February, and we kind of rebound back into the 40s there. So overall temperature pattern here on the GEFS and European. This is your temperature anomaly, showing the average temperature in warmer color or colder colors. As we move into this time frame, notice how we're cold now. We're just exiting the cold really off to our east, but notice how this warm air begins to penetrate further south. And by the time we get to that first week of February, the GEFS has the Midwest firmly in above average temperature probabilities. As we move into mid-February, though, we're going to notice that that kind of hangs around for a while. We kind of trend back toward near normal in the white color, but we're still leaning just above average here into the middle part of February. And if we go into the late February here, we kind of trend back toward near normal, if not leaning just below average. So overall, the GEFS model says we're going to be right around average, if not just a tad bit above average. The European, on the other hand, is a little bit more conservative with the warmth. As we were looking at this anomaly map here, we're seeing the colder colors push off to the east. We are going to be greeted by some warmer air, as highlighted here in the warmer colors, yellow and orange and reds. But as we move toward that middle part of February, the European model says we're going to trend back a little colder than average. So the takeaway that I have looking at this model is we're going to be right around average or so, and it could go either way. We're going to have probably days we're going to be a little bit below average and days we're going to be above average. But when all is said and done, I think this pattern is going to be much, much more milder in terms of what we've experienced over the past 20, 25 days with this Arctic air that has been brutal for us. Now, with this being said, though, when we have these split patterns, so to speak, where it could go either warm or cold, that brings some attention to the types of systems that we are looking at in our future. So, looking to the European model for the next 300 hours or so for our systems that are going to work through, I'm going to go ahead and let this play here. So, number one, we're going to have a clipper moving through tonight. That's what you see over the Michigan area up here. That's current. As we move into the early part of next week, another Clipper system kind of works its way through here. This is going to be pausing at Monday. So again, this is going to cause some light snow accumulations as a possibility, especially for areas further north. These Clipper systems are very prone to dumping an inch or two of snow, sometimes 3 or 4. But they also like to track north. So for those of you further south in like Grand Rapids, Detroit, Lansing may not get in on these Clipper systems. But if you're further north in like Marquette, Gaylord, Mackinac areas, you may very well get some snow out of these. Going into the middle part of next week, another Clipper system comes down, pausing us for Tuesday. So back-to-back Clipper systems. And then our attention shifts to, I believe, the weekend here. Go ahead and let it play right about here. We're going to see a system develop down here in the Texas area. That's going to track our way for this upcoming weekend. There's been a lot of talk I'm noticing on social media about this system, but as of right now, it's going to trend up our way. But because we are so warm, it's going to be rain for us at this point, unless something dramatic happens where we see a bunch of cold air start filling in. I'm thinking rain for this weekend. I don't really see much in the way of any snow chances, but if we can trend closer to that, freezing mark, we definitely could get some mixed precip there. So it's worth watching. But as of right now, both GFS and European models show this first system around the Saturday timeframe, showing us rain for a majority of Michigan. And then as that moves a little bit further to the north, as we go into the evening hours of Saturday, it kind of cools off and it kind of changes over to like a freezing rain sleet mix. But it does show that to our north currently. We're going to watch this closely. I don't think it's going to be a big snow system, but it very well could be rain, perhaps a mix for some of us here in Michigan. As we move into the weekend, though, that system pushes off to the east, and then we're kind of left with a little bit of a lingering precip shield. But then our attention turns again to the middle part of next week, where a secondary system develops. But again, we're a little bit too warm to get a pure snow solution. So this model says a mix of rain, sleet, freezing rain, and snow here. This is for like next week. This is kind of like fantasy land at this point. But the overall pattern is active and will remain active through the month, at least the first half of February. I think at this point, though, kind of pinpointing if this is going to be rain or snow or even a mix is kind of up in the air at this point. So overall takeaways, warmer pattern is here. No Arctic blast on the horizon. An active pattern will continue, but that could mean rain this time around. But cross your fingers here, as we need a good synoptic snow system to really get us back on track here for the winter. But right now, it's not looking favorable for that at this point. We need to trend a lot colder for us to get this snow. But anyway, With that being said, that is your long-term forecast into the first half of February. And then also with the temperatures, last half is kind of up in the air still. Let's just kind of wait and see how the first half plays out. It could go either way, above average, below average. I think we're right on par with average though, when all said and done. With that being said, I'm going to end the video here. On a shout out to our sponsor of today's video, we're going to go Lifestyle Exteriors based out of Traverse City and Lansing areas. They do exterior work on your homes. 989-854-3055 is your number to call. If you do call them, tell them MSC sent you. They would appreciate that, as would we. And thank you to Lifestyles for becoming or being the sponsor of today's YouTube video. As what we do here is not free. We have a lot of back end fees we got to cover for our software and stuff like that. So having sponsors really helps us keep things rocking and rolling here at Michigan Storm Chasers. I'll catch you guys tomorrow for another update video. You guys stay safe, stay warm, and travel safe if you're out and about on the roads.